What's up everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I have yet another scary storytime video for you guys. But first off, I do want to apologize if my energy seems kind of low. I have been feeling a bit under the weather the past 2 days. With this whole flu thing going around, it's kind of hard to avoid getting sick. So that's where I'm at today. So I did not choose to beat my face for you guys, and I did not choose to dress really cute today. I am just in my pajama shirt, and I'm pretty much all natural up here. So we can move past that, I promise. Alright, so I know I say this in all of my storytime videos, but I feel that it is necessary because there are lots of people out there with different beliefs, and that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my disclaimer really fast. Of course, if you do not believe in the paranormal or you do not believe in the creepier things in life, that is completely okay. You don't have to believe in what I believe in. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions and beliefs. But if you do not believe, you are still more than welcome to stick around and listen to my story. You can think of it more of a fun time, scary story. One thing I did not point out at the start of this series is, yes, I am a believer in the paranormal, but I am also a huge skeptic. So I will not immediately jump to the conclusion of something being paranormal without first trying to logically explain it away. But having said that, I have always been open spiritually. I mean, even as a kid, I would freak my mom out when I would tell her that I saw a man following us, but when she would look around, there was no one. I would point this man out as if he was real, yet I was the only one that could see him. And although I haven't had an extreme amount of experiences throughout my lifetime, visiting these abandoned locations definitely brought on more than I was expecting. But I do want to add that not all of these experiences happened back to back. I visited tons of locations, and these experiences would only occur every so often. So today's story also resides in Texas. Now I tried to research this school in hopes that I would find more of a story as far as figuring out what happened. But unfortunately, upon hours and hours of research, I came up empty. So it is unknown if there are any fatalities or tragedies that took place here. But today's story is more of a strange occurrence rather than darker matters. We had been driving down the long, winding country roads for the better half of the day when this crumbling little town caught our eye. There was a great mixture of abandoned houses and homes that were still being lived in. Something strange filled the air, and it was curious to see the little amount of life this town was still clinging to. 90% of these homes had been left behind to rot, and you could see that this was once a very populated area. Then we drove past a school, tucked away in the furthest part of the town. But the school looked different. It was far more damaged than any of the other homes that we had seen. And from what I could gather from being there in person was that the school had been standing for quite some time. The playground was that of the old metal style monkey bars, as well as various other metal playground equipment. The playground showed signs of wear as well as rust, and hazardous for children to play on, implying that it had been sitting like this for a while. And even though the entire building showed signs of destruction, there were details that helped me put together more of a story. Entering through the backside of the building, you are led down into the main hallway where the scorch marks from what seemed to have been a fire decorated the walls. The gradient on the walls was eerie, and it was a sad feeling that ran past. The further you got into the hallway, the darker it became. I followed these scorch marks down the hallway to the starting point of the fire, where it remained pitch black. Most of the classrooms were empty, but there were still signs of life. I saw books stacked in lockers and PE equipment scattered throughout the hallways. Paperwork turning yellow and toys that were overgrown with mold. Me and my boyfriend were pretty used to splitting up at this point, but we never strayed far from each other. This time he trailed off into the gymnasium and I wandered off into a few classrooms nearby, following him soon after. When I made my way into the gym, I noticed a slight change in lighting from outside. This was nothing drastic, but it was enough to notice the clouds rolling over, creating gradual darkness in the gym. My boyfriend comes out from behind the bleachers and I ask him what was down there. And he tells me that it's just the locker rooms and a door to the basement. Now this is where most normal people say, nope, I'm good. But I, of course, am anything but normal. So I asked if he was going to stay in the gym, and he decided that he wanted to continue looking around. So I watched him leave the gym, and I made my way down into the locker room area. Now it wasn't completely pitch black down there. There was still a bit of light coming in through the very large windows in the gym. So I start by making my way through this room, ducking in and out of each of the lockers, closing the doors behind me as I go. Then I stop when I get to the last locker door. As I shut it, I see a small black shadow from the corner of my eye wrap around a wall nearby. And I followed it to where I thought I saw it disappear, and on the other side of this wall was the door to the basement. I picked up a piece of wood lying on the floor and stood several feet back, kind of leaning in to push the door open with a stick. The door creaked open and a cool wind blew from below. Staring into the darkness, my eyes dilated as I tried to make out what was down there. I turned my flashlight on and slowly waving it back and forth, all I could see were more stairs descending into the darkness. I stood there for a minute, half expecting something to come crawling out of the darkness, and partially out of curiosity. The sound of thunder snapped me out of my trance, and I quickly made my way back into the gym. Looking outside, I saw a storm was about to roll in, so I called my boyfriend, we met up, and we made our way back out to the car. When we got back into the car, my boyfriend told me that he had seen a little boy playing on the playground. The little boy was dirty and he was only wearing shorts. He said he didn't find this odd because he figured it was just a kid from one of the houses nearby, still being occupied. Later on the road trip home, I tried to research further into the school to figure out more of a story, and all that kept popping up were links to black-eyed children. I had absolutely nothing remotely close to these words in my search, and that's all that kept popping up. Pages and pages of links to all kinds of different things related to black-eyed children, which I had always thought was just an urban legend. So I figured this was because I was continuously searching the word abandoned, and maybe Google had found something related to the word abandoned that connected both of these things. But every day since then, when I try to go and research this school, nothing but things that are related to the words in my search pop up. Maybe it was my imagination running wild, but that same night when we arrived home, I remember vividly dreaming about the little boy my boyfriend described. In the dream, he was in the gym, sitting in the stands, with his head hanging low, and his feet were swinging back and forth. I was on the opposite side of the gym, just staring at him. I couldn't speak, and every time I tried to move forward, he got further and further away. So I just stood there staring at him. And eventually he stopped swinging his feet, and I heard the sound of sobbing. And just as he was about to roll his head upward, before I could even make out a face, I woke up. So this experience, to say the least, was nothing short of a very strange occurrence. It's obviously nothing I can explain away, and I honestly have no words for it. I don't know what it meant. But it's hard to kind of excuse this to imagination when you have a second voice backing up the details in the events that happened. It was a very strange and odd occurrence, and I can't honestly tell you what happened. But it happened. So that's all I have for today's story time. As always, I really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know by hitting that like button so that I can continue creating these videos for you guys. And if you are new to my channel, I'm happy you're here and I would love to have you part of my YouTube crew. So don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I try to post videos for you guys weekly, so you don't want to miss out on any story times that I might have for you guys. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day or a wonderful night, whichever it is for you, and I'll see you next time.